Welcome to livinglifedyingdeath.com, a place for healthy conversations about death and dying. Today I want to welcome David Kaminski, a good friend and colleague. Hi.
Hi.
Can you tell the audience a little bit about what you do?
I'm a hospice chaplain. I've been doing hospice work for about 16 years.
Well, I'd like to start by asking you if you'd like to share a story about death or dying.
I probably would begin with a story about a patient that I had in Chicago. It was a lady in her mid-80s, and I went in to feed her breakfast one morning and was talking with her and helping her eat, and she said, "David, I really don't have time to eat." She said, "I'm going to die today." And I said, "Marion, why do you?" And she said, "I'm going to die." She says, "You have to take me upstairs right now to see my sisters. They both live here. All three were unmarried, lived in the same nursing home." And I said, "Okay." I said, "Let's go. We'll do it." So she went to see both her sisters, said goodbye to each of them, and then asked me, "Will you stay with me until I die?" And I'm thinking to myself, okay, you're up, you're talking. I don't see this happen. Something within me said, "Yes, I'll stay. I'll stay with you." And started talking, and she was reminiscing. This was about 9:30. Come 11 o'clock, she got into bed, and we continued talking, and at 12:10 she died. Something within her, she knew that she was going to die, and she knew that she had to take care of these things, say goodbye to her sisters, and she wanted someone with her, and it was just such an honored time to be with her and to say yes to that, not knowing why I said yes, but I said yes, and I was with her until the end, and it was a very, very unique journey. Powerful experience.
What is your experience? Do you feel like that happens very often, that people do know when they've begun the dying process, or is that something that was unique to her?
I think people generally do know that there is something that has changed within them and that they need at times to take care of things, to take care of business. Many times it's more emotional and spiritual. The physical tags along, but many times it is more the emotional and spiritual that needs to be tended to. And they know and they can sense something within. Many times family members don't pick up on that. They don't see that or don't understand that, or they'll brush it off. "Oh, well, you're just, don't talk about that. Don't talk about that." It's always a subject that usually is not discussed, and they want to talk about it, approach it, because I'm walking in with little or no information about their spiritual history, background, experience, church experience, spirituality. And so I always try to approach, do you have a sense of peacefulness within inside you? And so many times within healthcare, people are asked, are you in pain? Are you eating? Are you comfortable? All of those physical things, but no one really asks, are you peaceful? And when you ask that question, that patient almost takes a step back, and it's like you are directly focused on them and where they might be at. And it's not a physical thing. It is definitely a spiritual. And I think asking that and getting and helping that patient arrive at a place of peacefulness within themselves allows them to delve into that world that really no one else helps them focus in on. And that crosses all boundaries. It crosses religious boundaries, cultural boundaries, ethnic boundaries, all of those boundaries. A sense of peacefulness within yourself is a very unique place to be at and to arrive at. Some people are there right away. They've been through the mill, they're ready, and they can say they're peaceful. Others will look at that and say, no one's really ever asked me that before. I don't think I can answer that right now. So let's explore that. So, and then we begin the journey.
Do you find that people might tell you things since you are a stranger in their world?
There are times the patient wants to share things, and it is of a nature they don't want to share that with a spouse, a sibling, a child, a grandchild, and they will share that and process that with me.
Especially when they're exploring and processing, like you said. They will get to a point where they do want to share it with family and friends of their comfort or peacefulness.
There's a sense of confidentiality.
Right. Is there anything you'd like to share with the audience that you think might be a unique perspective that you have? As you well know, this project is about healthy conversations about death and dying and how that impacts our life.
I just think the importance of talking about what you envision death to be, how you view death. And when I talk with people and tell them what I do, the first words out of their mouth are, "Oh, that must be a very difficult job," or "That must be, that must just be a horrible experience." And I look at them, I'm like, "No, absolutely not." I said it's a phenomenal job. And I said, "I love what I do." And then that opens up the doors. Oh, well, what is it that you do? What exactly do you do in a hospice? And how can you always talk to someone about death and dying? And I think the more you discuss it and the more that you open up that conversation, you'll become more comfortable with it.
I was wondering if you could tell me if you're afraid to die personally.
No.
Do you want to share any more about that, or where that comes from?
I have always lived, and I think it's been the blessing of being in this job, that I have always lived with the philosophy of live for today, because tomorrow I don't know what will happen. And that's the way I've lived.
I want to thank you so very much for sharing your ideas and experiences with us today.
Very welcome. It's a great conversation to have, and I thank you for bringing up the topics and promoting this type of discussion within society. I think it's a great conversation.
Have a great afternoon.
Thank you.